U.S. traitor sentenced to 22 years. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Former Proud Boys chairman Enrique Torres was sentenced yesterday to 22 years in prison for seditious conspiracy and leading a failed plot to prevent the transfer of power from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. The sentence from District Judge Timothy Kelly is the longest given to anyone in relation to the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol attack. Tario, dressed in an orange jumpsuit and orange slip-on sneakers, leaned against a lectern at the front of the crowded courtroom and hung his head as the judge handed down his lengthy sentence. Three other members of the Proud Boys leadership were also found guilty of seditious conspiracy and sentenced last week. Judge Kelly sentenced Ethan Nardine and Joseph Briggs, two of the far-right organization's top lieutenants, to 18 years and 17 years prison sentence respectively. Zachary Rail, a local Proud Boys chapter leader, was also sentenced to 15 years behind bars, while Dominic Pezzola, a low-level member and the only defendant acquitted of the seditious conspiracy charge, was also sentenced to 10 years in prison. Over in Jamaica, Jamaica Urban Transit Company Managing Director Paul Abraham said he's disappointed and disheartened by the latest damage to one of the company's bus, given the challenges the entity has been faced with. An image which was posted Tuesday to X, formerly Twitter, showed the bus with a smashed side glass after someone threw a stone. The damaged unit was observed in Portmore in St. Catherine. Mr. Abraham said the bus has been repaired and redeployed. And he said stone throwing incidents have plagued the JUTC for years and he cannot figure out why they do it. Westmoreland continues to be one of the most violent places in Jamaica as armed thugs carried out a robbery at a supermarket in Little London in Westmoreland on Monday. An elderly woman was shot in the incident and has been hospitalized in serious condition. It's reported that about 9 a.m. a group of armed men invaded the supermarket and stole more than $400,000 in cash from the proprietor. On leaving the supermarket, the men opened fire, hitting the elderly woman who was walking along the roadway. And still in Westmoreland, the police are making arrangements to lay charges against one of two suspects involved in Monday's fatal shooting of a businesswoman in Little London in Westmoreland. The other suspect, identified as Odain Richards, was killed by a mob. The 20-year-old suspect, who is in custody, was rescued by a police team after he was also attacked by the mob, and he's to be charged with connection with the murder of 39-year-old Lativa Helps, otherwise called Lati. Miss Help, who operates Lati's Sport Bar and Restaurant along the Bay Road main road in Little London, was standing outside her business place when she was pounced upon by two men who rode up on a motorcycle. Both men brandished handguns and opened gunfire at Miss Helps, hitting her all over her body. As the attackers tried to flee the scene, a driver who saw what happened hit them off the motorbike. The suspects were then chased by residents in the community. They were held and chopped all over their bodies by the angry residents. Miss Helps and the men were taken to hospital, where she and Richards was pronounced dead. The other wounded suspect was treated and released into the custody of the police. A firearm with several rounds of ammunition was turned over to the police by the residents. Now, news on the street is that Miss Helps was killed due to mistaken identity. It is said that the men were paid to kill another woman who operates a business which is close to Miss Helps. Her name is very similar. The gunmen, it is said, got a contract to kill a woman named Letty, but killed Miss Helps by mistake, who goes by the name Lati. So you have one named Letty and one named Lati. And this is a spin-off from the killing of a businesswoman who was murdered a few weeks ago in Smithfield in Westmoreland. We also carried that news on this radio station. That suspected killer is said to be the boyfriend of the intended target, Letty, but they cannot find him, so they're seeking to take revenge on the woman, and they shot the wrong person. According to them, if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him shot. And in another vicious attack, the bodies of three members of a family were found with what appeared to be bullet wounds inside their house in Waterloo District in St. Catherine yesterday morning. Their 43-year-old Omar Wellington, his wife 35-year-old Sharon Francis Wellington, who was also pregnant, and their son 16-year-old Orlando Wellington, who was a student at Innswood High School. And it's reported that sometime after 5 o'clock, a passerby saw the door to the house ajar and alerted the police. Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, head of the JCF Corporate Communications Unit, said residents reported hearing explosions sometime after 3 o'clock in the morning. Lindsay said that the hands of the victims were also bound. People in the community said these are good Christian family who attend a nearby church and they never trouble anyone. But news on the street is that the gang that did this killing is sending a message to a family member who they have been searching for and not able to find him. So they're searching for a family member of the Wellingtons. They can't find him, so they kill this entire family. One of three men who reportedly fired several shots at a policeman on the Irons Mountain Main Road in St. Anne on Tuesday, August 19, has been charged. Charged with shooting with intent possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a prohibited weapon to commit a felony is 35-year-old Omar Thomas, otherwise called Rob, a taxi operator of Church Street, Harrisontown in Ocho in St. Anne. And I want you to listen how crazy this story is. Reports are that about 6:30 p.m. the cop was traveling towards Monique in the parish when he observed a white Toyota Axia motorcar with flashing lights behind his vehicle. He reportedly pulled over. However, the driver of the Toyota Axia used the motorcar to block his vehicle. Three armed men then alighted from the Toyota Axia motorcar and allegedly opened gunfire at the policeman. The lawman reported took evasive action and returned gunfire. Apparently, they didn't know he was armed. The Toyota Axia motorcar reportedly sped off and crashed into an embankment, and the gunmen managed to escape. And this is clearly an assassination attempt. This policeman will now have to be on his P's and Q's, as it seems as if somebody wants him dead. A 73-year-old woman has been charged with the murder of her husband in Cabbage Valley District in St. Elizabeth on Saturday. Enid Towson, a farmer, is expected to appear before the St. Elizabeth Parish Court later this week. Towson, who is still in police custody, is charged for the death of her husband, Arthur, also a farmer, who was killed following a disagreement over his will. And it is reported that about 4 a.m. on Saturday, the couple was at home when they reported they had a dispute over a will that the husband was preparing. The wife, the police said, became upset that her husband was not including her name in the will. An argument reportedly developed during which a sharp object was used to stab Arthur all over his body, killing him on the spot. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. And you can see from all these stories that Jamaica is not a real place. Onto sports. United States forward Michael Bridges said that his team was just plain hungry after they overpowered Italy on Tuesday to book their place in the basketball's World Cup semifinals. The USA beat Italy 100-63 to rebound from their first defeat of the tournament, which was a loss to Lithuania in the second round 2 days earlier. Bridges led the US in scoring with 24 points. The US will now face Germany in the semifinals on Friday. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Football Federation is confident that the playing surface at the National Stadium will be ready for the Reggae Boys CONCACAF Nations League games against Honduras and Haiti, which will take place this Friday and Tuesday respectively. The GFF did an inspection of the field last Friday and found that there are issues with its condition after two events hosted at the venue last month. One, the Independence Day Grand Gala celebration on August 6, and the R&B artist Chris Brown's concert on August 27. The game against Honduras is to start at 8 p.m. and the Haiti match is to kick off at 7 p.m. Now, why would they keep a concert on August 27 when they know that they have games to play? Because having a concert in the stadium, you're going to have people walking on that ground, and it is just crazy. It's just crazy. Anyway, if you ever miss the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.